Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. All righty. Good evening. Good evening to everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of Telehealth Tuesday. This is your go-to podcast for insights on modern healthcare and wellness solutions. I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt, your host for the show, and today we have a very special episode and an even more special guest that's joining us, Mr. Lance Griffith. Now, before I tell you all about Mr. Griffith, I want to take just a moment to thank our sponsors for tonight's episode. Graphics are Chase, P5 Solutions, and as always, Adama Dynasty Greek Apparel Corporation. I also want to let you know that Telehealth Tuesday can be viewed on multiple platforms, including our YouTube channel, which is Dr. BTV, the word doctor spelled out DOCTOR, the letter B as in boy, TV. You can also go to our Good Faith Wellness Center pages on both Instagram and Facebook. So please remember to follow, like, share, and subscribe to help support this very important program. Lastly, we would like for you all to know, because we've been announcing this on the last couple of episodes, that at Good Faith Wellness Center, that's located at 2506 Lakeland Drive, for the rest of this year, so now that is the month of December, all the way to December 31st, any new patient that comes, if you're utilizing insurance, your copay will be waived. Your copay will be waived if you are a new patient coming to Good Faith Wellness Center. So we want to make sure that you know about that. All right, without further ado, let's go over Mr. Lance Griffith. I want to tell you before we bring him on the screen who this gentleman is. Since 2001, Lance has built a thriving financial services career, fostering lasting relationships with clients across Louisiana, Texas, and beyond. Lance is known for his hands-on coaching style approach. He helps business owners, educators, and families maximize wealth while minimizing risk. Lance emphasizes purposeful planning for retirement, legacy building, and philanthropy, focusing on transparent strategies that balance emergency funds. He's a graduate of the University of Louisiana Monroe with a bachelor's in business administration and an MBA degree. Lance leverages Merrill Lynch's extensive resources to offer comprehensive financial solutions. Lance is married. His wife is Bridget. They are active in their Monroe, Louisiana community, supporting causes like Crime Stoppers and sickle cell initiatives while enjoying travel, fitness, and lifelong learning. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lance Griffith, welcome him. What's going on, good brother?
Man, I'm good, brother. You good?
Man, we are alive and well and kicking, and that is a blessing.
Oh man, you know it. You had a good Thanksgiving?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I was in my hometown in Orlando, Florida, and
Uh,
with family. So yeah, how about yourself?
yeah, I was in my hometown of Alexandria, Louisiana, visiting family. It was good. It was good, good and peaceful.
Yeah,
We ate a lot. Just reflecting, man.
awesome. But Lance, I read your bio, but tell us all about yourself and what you're doing these days, and how you feel like you can help these good people.
Oh man. Like you kind of said a lot in the bio, but the main thing is I'm in this business, man. Just to help people. I got into it in 2001, but before then, a person has to find out what they're here for in life. Everybody is here for something, and it's more than just waking up and eating and just sharing space. It's you got to have a purpose in life, and what I've been doing, man, over the last 22 years, it's been phenomenal. What I found is growing up we had we didn't have a lot of financial education in my community. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up I grew up. I, Not everybody's the same, but what I've seen is you can only do what you see.
That's
And
right.
And if you don't see it, you can't achieve them too. You can only go to a level, man, in which you can see, in which you're seeing living in front of you. So that was one of the main things, man. Recall when I was young, little, looking at the ticker symbol with the stuff for the stock market, and that was something that we at the 6 o'clock news, and that was something that we never talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It just floated across the screen, and we never talked about it in my home.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure because nobody amongst our group talked about it because we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't think that was something that we could do. And that was the thing that really got me interested and involved in this career that I chose.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, we're by the way, we are highlighting a couple of comments up here, Lance, and letting everybody know that we are live. We are here. We have several people that are always here, our loyal supporters. I see
Hmm.
one of them has just joined, and I'm sure a few are on their way. And, we have had some amazing episodes. I know you had looked over a couple of our episodes, and we've been having some really good engagement from our listening audience. And so we want you guys to know that, as always, we're here to take your questions, comments, or even concerns here on Telehealth Tuesday. But so without further ado, let's get on into it if you don't mind.
Let's get it, Doc.
All right. So one of the questions that we wanted to know from our show perspective, how does someone create a holiday budget that they can actually stick to?
Well, first of all, in order to do that, and this goes with budgeting overall, you can't budget for anything the main thing is you got to have a vision about what you want to do. Your budget is going to be different from my budget or somebody else's budget. And for the you have to base that based on the income that you have. I like to always tell people put back 10% of their income in savings. All
Okay.
right, put back 10% every month of your income in savings. Some people say, "Well, I can't do that." You'd be surprised what you can do when you get tired of being broke. And
Absolutely.
one of the main things, man, is most people when you look at credit card debt, the average credit card holder, I was just looking at these numbers around over $7,000 of credit card debt, in which they
$7,000.
7,000. They carry $7,000 plus of credit card debt a month at average of 20% interest. You can never pay that off by paying minimum payments. So what I want people to really get understanding of, don't get caught up in that cycle. If you cannot afford it, don't do it. But what you can do, you can afford what you want to afford. And do you want peace though? Do you want peace? And
Right.
just because you have a credit card don't mean you have peace. You have I call it hell.
Hell,
Especially if you
that's
got
what it is.
knocking on
What
your
it
door.
is.
So I say that basically to create a budget, first of all, you got to you before you can create anything like an extreme budget like that, you got to look at your finances first and start
Hmm.
and be consistent in saving yourself. Ten
Right.
percent, 10% up a month, and that'd be 10% a year. Whatever your income is, if you did that, you have enough to have a basic budget to be able to peel off, to be able to put back for Christmas or any other emergency that may happen. That's beside an opportunity like that. If you did that, you'd be fine. If you did that, you'd be surprised how much money that would be. And this is how you do it. This is how you do it, Mike. You just set something up automatically. Don't do it yourself. Set it up automatically. Make sure you go into your savings account. You got $1,000 coming in. Make sure $100 goes there. You'll never miss it. You
Hmm.
know that's the hardest thing. People think they're gonna miss it, but you won't miss it. You'll learn. You'll learn. Like our grandparents learned how to live with less, and they had a much better life than what we had. You'll learn. You'll learn, and then you'll see how much you have later. You won't need that credit card. Go ahead, brother.
And so you said, so basically they put 10% aside, and like you said, they won't miss that, and I agree with you. So how long would they, I guess like since we're talking about the holidays, we've had a lot of people come on and talk about the holiday blues and some mental health therapists, some amazing therapists. So I guess still around this holiday subject, you know, people who's, and especially if they have a family, like, more than one child and there's a husband and wife, do you feel like during the holiday time they can still use the 10% rule even while spending, and shopping?
Well, if you plan for it, if you plan, that's the key. You have to plan for it. Like if you plan on going on vacation, all
Right.
right. If you're wise, you won't you will start planning for that vacation a couple of years from now. You see,
Absolutely.
and you also got to look at you have to set expectations for your children and whoever else, that your spouse, or for yourself. You have to set expectations. You have to know what you can afford.
That's
And
right.
let me give you a hint: if you have to go in debt every month, every year for it, and take you 2 years to pay it off, you can't afford it. You're living above your means. So
Mm,
set realistic expectations. If you can seriously, if you can do that, you will have more money than
mm,
what you realize. You will have more access to disposable income than what you realize. Some people, they can't. They have to get past this in their mind, so they can start doing something a little bit different, and
mm.
watch what happened. That happened to me, and it's amazing. Once you get tired of the debt cycle, that's what's stopping most people. That and lack of income stops most people from being able to have extra income to be able to do things like make extra purchases Christmas time, since is what we're talking about today, or anything else. I can tell you this: emergency, car breakdown or a tire blows out, you don't have to go to Goodyear, that credit card. Those things right here, if you don't have credit card debt, if you can have access, if you can keep control of your income, your most valuable asset, then you can have disposable income all year round. And you
Mm.
don't have to be a slave to the creditors. That's the key. If you need an extra $1,000 for your Christmas gifts, okay, or
Right.
whatever the number is, okay, let's just use $1,000. If you know you're gonna need that money, okay, why not start planning for it 6 months down the road or a year down the road? Why not start, instead of doing $100 a month based on $1,000? Let's say you do $150 a month. Put it
Mm.
in your mind. Put it in your mind. Our grandmothers did it. My mom always had extra. I don't know how she did it. She didn't make a lot of money, but she knew how to put money back. Okay, you put money back for what you for what you what's important to you. And
Hmm.
if you can start this, I'm trying to change your lifestyle in the way you think. If you can do that, you can have categories
Yeah.
of extra things that you can put back money for. I remember there was a Christmas club when I was younger. I don't know if you remember Sears,
Oh,
and places like that.
yeah. See ya.
They had the Christmas club, J.C. Penney's, and places like that. And you
Absolutely.
put money back. Oh, I know you remember Man Layaway,
Yep.
in Walmart and places like that. I know you remember that. Those are just ways, man, in which you can, if you look at, you pay a little bit at a time. Well, instead of paying them, you paying yourself, and you're being smart with it. If you can take that concept, you can apply it to several different places, and you can really start making headway in your life financially. It starts right now, but you got to have the impetus. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be paying 20% interest for the next 6 months for the Christmas that I had for Christmas 2024.
That's
All
right.
right. So what I got to do is I got to look at the mistakes I made in 23 and 22. I got to look at the mistakes I made and not make those same mistakes.
Hmm.
If you get tired of it, have a little anger. Like, I don't want to pay. I don't want to give away 20% of my income, 20% of that debt. I don't want to pay back over time. 20% extra, and knowing where that money is going is being robbed out of my family's pocket. Just get a little. If you can see that, you have to get tired of your situation, and that'll make you start doing things a little bit differently. That'll make you start cutting back on some things that you normally would like to do. I
Hmm.
mean, whatever it may be, a coffee habit or whatever habit you may have, or you think you can't live without, you can live without some things. You'll be more healthier too.
Absolutely.
You'll be surprised.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So that, kind of brings us to our next, we're talking about savings and making the hard choices, and just cutting back just a little bit. So, I guess that my next question was going to say, when it comes to spending, would you say that there are some common mistakes that people make when holiday shopping? I guess, as it pertains to the spending? Like, are there some mistakes that people make when they're shopping?
Well, the main mistake people make is they spend. Just be real about it. They spend too much. I mean, that's the main part about it. You have to realize it's like getting married. Y'all know that first wedding, right? If I'm talking to the people that been married more than one, that first wedding, you tend to overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to overdo it, not realizing the next day you still got to pay bills.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? The next day you still got to live. Okay, the next day you still have to pay your electricity bill.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really, your expectations have to be set. The first year is going to be tough when you start this. The first year is going to be tough. And like I said, this concept can go on with anything. It could be a vacation fund. It could be buying a car, or some type of automobile. This same concept can apply. You can have different buckets of money. If you and you'll be surprised if you start telling your money where it want to go, how much more money you get, because opportunities tend to follow you when you start doing right by it.
Right.
You start to tell the creature, you the creator, you start to tell the creature where it's gonna go and watch what happens. You'll be
Mm,
surprised. You'll be surprised, Dr. Mike, what
huh.
happens when you get tired of your situation and then you start doing the thing, not just crying about it, you start doing something about it.
Mm-hmm. Why is it that I'm going to pivot a little bit from, because we, as with all of our shows, we've already have some pre-prepared questions, and sometimes people will send me questions that they say they may not want, depending on the nature of the subject that we're discussing, they may not want to come on publicly, and so sometimes I just ask the question for them. But one thing that I've always wanted to know from a financial expert's opinion, why is it that especially in the minority community, we don't have certain knowledge, or we don't have certain access to people like yourself? Is there, I know that that's probably somewhat of a long-winded, kind of answer to that, but I mean, because I just look at it like, everybody doesn't have to be rich, or they don't have to be college educated or have a PhD to have a financial analyst and or a wealth expert or whatnot. So why is it that in our community we don't have access to this? We don't have the knowledge that those of you possess that work with the big corporations and things like Merrill Lynch.
Because it's the communities we brought up in. We brought up in some communities, and like you were saying, we're so used to, like I was mentioning earlier, we you didn't talk about the stock market, and then when you talked about it, you talked about it in ways of gambling. You equated with the casino. It's Hosea 4:6. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge.
That's
you
right.
know and because you rejected knowledge, you can't be my priest,
Mm,
and because you can't serve me, I'm gonna reject your children. Why he says that? Because if you don't know it, your children not gonna know it. Okay, so my thing is, man, to kind of go back to your question, is that's not something that we really talk about in our community. We
hmm
really talk, we if you're not hungry, you're not gonna research it out. And then also, you don't see many of me in the industry.
mm,
Man, I'm probably one of four with the licenses that I have. Yeah, one of four. It's a handful of us in the state of Louisiana.
really
So
one of
as
four.
you, it's not many of us, man. It's not many of us, and especially with Merrill, and I've been with other companies. I don't want to mention names or whatever, but it's not many. And that's because that's not something that, as a capital of people, percentage of people, we tend to have less income as a capital of people. And the ones that do have income, just because you make big income, makes you make a couple 100,000 a year, or 50,000 a year, 300,000 a year, don't mean you know how to spend it.
That's
Don't
right.
mean, I've learned that some people that make the biggest income, you got to teach them how to put on a budget. And I don't even say budget, I say spending plan. Budget is a bad word, but a spending plan. Tell your money where you want it to go. Let it work for you. It becomes your tool at that point, rather your bills becoming your master. You see what I'm saying? If
Mm,
you get me, you get me. if you can start that, if you can tell if you can change the narrative from a budget to a spending plan, then you can work in the offense and not always in defense. We're so used to as a community working on defense. That's why when everybody get a cold, we get the flu.
Right, right,
That's
right.
why when we, as your medical professional,
Hmm.
you know for a fact, COVID hit our community a lot harder than a lot of because why? Because
Absolutely.
of our habits and our lifestyle that we accumulated, that we hang our hat on as being us. But that
Yes, sir.
stuff is destructive.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, you can say that yourself. So a lot of things you can do, you can change in your own household. Now you're gonna be talked about when you start eating different, when you start acting different.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's somebody has to lead the show. You
That's
know,
right.
it has to start. So
That's
that's why I see it's not many people in our industry, and I've been at several African American and Black and African American conferences, financial services conferences, and it be we'd be so happy to get together because it's like sometimes it'd be a whole year you only maybe see three or four of you. You get
yeah.
together once a year, you see a group of you like oh. You know, you'd be so happy to get together. Wow, we can talk from our angle, from all over the country.
Wow.
So I just think, man, it's first of all, we were. Can I be kind of like real honest with you?
Oh, please. That's what we want. Please.
Wealth was never supposed to be something we accumulated as as people of African descent in this country.
Mm. Say
We
say
were
that.
always we were always supposed to be the ones creating the wealth, but never having the wealth.
Can you say that again for the people in the back? That wealth was never. Say what you said again, brother.
It was never designed for us to have wealth in this Western culture. It was never designed for the people of African descent. No matter where you come from, you can call yourself black or African American or whatever the word we calling ourselves. Now, it was never designed. We were always we were here. We were brought here as chattel to be able to create wealth for everybody else. Is that detailed enough for you?
That's
We
it.
were never.
That's it, man.
We were never designed to be here that way. We were made into who we are. So now, because of the grace of God, people have woken up over the last few generations and say, look, this is something that we can do. This is something that we are. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not broke. I'm not in despair. I'm not poor. Okay. I have to break some people and say I'm just a poor man. They wear that like a badge of honor, like that's something. Man, shut up. As you if you speak that, you're gonna pass that along into other generations. That
Mm.
mentality. I'm from the streets. You ain't from no streets.
Nah,
Somebody told you it's from the streets.
that's right.
Okay? You don't even understand what the streets is. You grew up in church. You
Hmm.
ain't no street boy. Stop it. And it's proven because you ain't because the ones that say they are, they just as soft as anything else.
That's soft as toilet tissue.
Yeah, continental tissue. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what the streets really are, man. But it's just something about us. We're so impressionable that but who put that out there though? That's the thing. Who puts that out there? And people don't want certain groups don't want certain groups to wake up because when they do, game over.
Mm.
It's game over. Anything that we can put our mind to and we see it, a generation or two later, we dominate in as a
Absolutely.
culture. A
In
culture to
anything.
dominate. And this is not a racial thing. This is anybody that could put their mind together, put their mind into something, realize who they are. Realize, I don't care if it's the poorest white kid in Wyoming or in Louisiana or black kid or Mexican kid. If you when you put your and then you see who you are, we got to see somebody in our community. We got to wake us up.
That's right.
We have to see a Michael Booker. We got to see a Lance Griffith. Just using myself as an example. Somebody that's an oddity. Somebody that's not scared of doing something different.
Hmm.
You got to see that kid, got to see somebody. They may not see it in their home. I don't know. See, you got me going off. They may not
Oh, it's
see
all
it in
right,
their
brother.
home, Mike.
Go for it. Go for
They
it.
may not see it in their home, but if they can see it at school, if they can see it on this on this podcast, I should say, if they can see it in the neighborhood, they
Mhm.
got to see somebody different. They got to not all policemen are bad.
That's right.
They have to see it, and the answer of getting rid of all of them is not the answer. Because what happens to the when you really need somebody?
Yep, that's right.
You know, so those are the things, man. I just feel this. We as a community, people that God has woken up to a degree, and the awakening is not all the way, but it's coming. I'm
Hmm.
just telling you that it's coming. Uh, we have to have a responsibility to, no matter how I look, no matter how we talked about, no matter how much in the pie in the sky and our vision may be in the clouds, and people talk about you, it doesn't matter. You got to get past all that. Life is
That's
short,
right.
and your life got to be for something other than you.
That's right.
Did I answer your question, or did I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I want you to know this is our platform because if nothing else, we don't have an outlet or a platform. So when you said let me be real, I want you to keep it as real as possible because I mean that's what I'm always gonna do. And
Yes, sir.
that's the only way that we want to bring this to people. This is not a traditional news, program. We're not on, the news station. And so this is something that is just brought to us, from us, for us. And any people that want to
Mhm.
uh, listen and can benefit from information, I'm grateful for that. But I think if we need to talk straight directly to people in the minority community and things like that, then, we're going to do what we need to do. Um,
Yes,
so
sir.
so, we'll change. And by the way, I want to just take a moment to say to all of our new viewers, to people who are watching live, let's go ahead and keep those questions and comments coming in. We've highlighted a few things. We appreciate your comments so far. Says that it seems like in our community it's not taught, and it's something a lot of us are learning as adults. And yes, Kim is referring to the question I asked a few moments ago when we were asking why is it that in the minority community we don't have access to people like these, like financial wealth advisors, wealth management advisors, and then Lance brought up an excellent point, saying that in our community we were not supposed to achieve wealth, and that is the unfortunate truth. But anyway, look, we want everybody to know that we are here live, Telehealth Tuesday. We have got Lance Griffith. He is a financial wealth advisor with Merrill Lynch and has over 20 years experience doing so. So for all of you that have questions about what to do with holiday spending, the topic this evening is holiday spending, but he's here at your disposal. If you guys want to come on and ask questions about savings, investments, if somebody needs to get a little more specific about mutual funds and all that, Lance is here to answer these questions. So, come on and ask away. Uh, so let's go to another one. When it comes to avoiding impulse buying, I'm kind of staying on this purchasing kick because that's kind of the questions that came in. And when we got our feedback, they wanted to know about spending and savings during the holidays. So you touched on it a little bit, but the best ways to avoid impulse buying, is there anything that you would recommend to folks?
Yeah, sleep on it first.
Okay. All right.
Sleep on it first. And you'll figure out if you need it or not. Think about it. It's marketing. Whatever you research on the internet, AI or whatever, is going to show up on your marketing. That creates impulse buying. Do you really need it? Go to sleep for a few nights and see, do you still need it? That kills any impulse ever, ever. If you can run things through a sifter, do I really need that? Do I really need that?
Mm-hmm.
And sleep on it and let the and talk to God. Well, some people may want to hear that, but I have to tell you where I'm at. Talk to
Oh,
God. Do I need that? Let Him settle your spirit. And if you need it, then God, how do I get it? Then you start coming up with a plan, like we started talking about earlier. It moves from an impulse to maybe a want to maybe a need, and then you divide whether it's a want or need, whether it's short term or long term. Then you start evaluating what you already have that maybe already fulfilling the need. Then you realize, well, I really don't need it. It's a want, and then next thing you know, you kick it out.
that's right.
You follow what I'm saying?
That's right.
Sleep on it first. Sleep on it first. Wait, because it's like junk food that they put in the front of the grocery store. The gum and the candy and the chocolate. You don't need none of that stuff. That
That's right.
stuff is there to buy for impulse. I used a career before I got here. When I got out of undergrad, I was in retail, and that's why I know we know merchandising. You merchandise the stuff that has the highest markups and the lowest value up front and at eye level. And that's why they keep it. That's why they keep it in front of you. How you think AI is all on Facebook now?
That's right.
On LinkedIn now, on Instagram. It's everywhere now. Google, everywhere now, because they know how to market you. It don't, and I'm just don't be a sucker. Don't quit being a sucker. All
That's right.
right, just quit it. Stop it. Stop it. You don't if it's something that you don't need, you sleep on it.
Okay.
Sleep. If that's, I mean, that's just my simple thing. Sleep on it, and you wake up the next day. God give you grace. You still don't need it. All of a sudden, it ain't a need, it's a want. And sooner or later, you're gonna realize you even want it anymore. You know what? That ain't that important to me. Next thing that you're getting on down the road.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. We've got a question that has come in from Dion. Oh, and by the way, big shout out the CEO of Adima Dynasty, Greek apparel collection, and of course, you know it's our Founders Day, A Phi A Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated tomorrow,
Right.
and so Greek apparel, we have a minority-owned company, Adima Dynasty. So the CEO is here asking questions, so we appreciate that. Dion says, what is your personal philosophy on investing, and what pointers can you provide to individuals who are interested in creating a diversified portfolio? Great question. I'm going to leave that up on the screen there.
Yeah, it is a good question. What makes it really good to me is when you say diversify. It leads it into investing and not gambling. And what I tell people to do is, first of all, very first thing, very first thing. Remember when the first question you asked me was about saving?
That's right.
What about holiday spending? I
Mhm.
don't tell anybody to invest, whether it's in any portfolio, unless you have your at least 6 months to a year emergency fund. You
Okay.
have to get your savings
Say
first.
that again, please. So
You,
that,
okay, from people in the back, you need to have at least 6 months to a year. I say at least 6 months emergency fund in your savings account before you start investing in any plan. Number one, what that would do is that'll show you that you have enough. You have enough to be able to invest, and you have enough discipline to be able to put money back. That you have enough discipline to be able to actually tell your money where it's going to go. You
that's
become
right.
the master to it. You see what I'm saying? And once you have that, you have a foundation. Let me tell you the purpose of that. The purpose of that is to make sure when the market is like walking upstairs with a yo-yo. Just imagine that, okay? I don't know. Some of y'all may not know what a yo-yo is on here. All right, I don't
It's
see
too young. It's
on
too
Facebook
young.
stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? Walk.
That's
Just imagine, okay? It's like this. Okay, it's not like that. It's going up and down, but over a period of time, you have made progress. That's
mhm.
how investing is. So in those periods when it's down, you still have enough. If there is a dip, you still have enough money to be able you have tires you got to buy. You can buy that out of the emergency fund, and then you can pay yourself back. And you don't have to go back and pull that seed in the earth out, meaning your investments. Okay. And those investments are made for you tomorrow. Okay. You can still live today and still have money for it to replace you tomorrow. You
Mhm.
mentioned you mentioned yourself earlier on the conversation we had, and wasn't nothing, nothing personal, man. You want to be able to create income beyond you working a 9 to 5.
That's right.
In other words, you want to create another asset that can produce. Other that's your asset that other than you. Okay, well that's how you do it. First, you got to have a good foundation first. If not, you gambling.
Hmm.
You betting everything on red. You know what I'm saying? You gambling, and it's feast or famine. And you able to take care of your bills for 6 months or a year. You still have an income coming in. And the worst could happen is you could get sick. You need to pay a deductible. It's several things, and you're able to keep that money for your investments going. Now to build up a diversified portfolio, I had to get that part out of the way.
Okay.
Also, got proper insurance, because none of that stuff works if you get sick.
That's right.
Okay, if you get sick, meaning you need to have. A lot of people don't talk about disability income. See, y'all asking me, y'all calling me to get more into what I.
Yeah, it's all right. We here.
Yeah,
We're here.
you have to protect your most valuable asset, which is your health, and also which produces your income, allows you to produce your income. Doc, you can't practice medicine if you're sick, brother.
That's right.
Okay, I can't talk to people about money and building families and building futures if I'm sick. Okay, so I got to make sure I have the health insurance. I got to make sure I have the disability income, which people don't talk about much, and so on and so forth. The life insurance, oh my God, the life insurance. 'Cause we're not promised the next minute, much less tomorrow. And if you got people that you love, it's not whether you're here or not, is you want to make sure they're gonna be fine. You got to set all that up before you talk about investing. Now let's get to the investment piece.
Okay.
Setting you first, once you get those other two foundational issues set, then what you have to do is you have to consider first of all, how much you have set aside to start. Number one, a good normally you and then in order before you even do that, you got to look at the risk tolerance. I like to say it like this: the risk tolerance can be from 0 to 5. There's risk tolerance sheets that you can take a look at, but 0 to 5, 0, let's just say you're scared, you don't understand the market, you need the money now, you chicken little, okay, you just scared, you really don't have you have a lack of understanding, and you don't really understand how it works.
Hmm.
5 years, I'm very aggressive on bungee jump. I got 5, 10, 15 years. And for people planning for retirement, planning for children education, that's really where most people are. Most people tell me generally 2 to 3. Okay. And what we do is you can build a portfolio based on a set of companies that got real products, real solutions. Okay, I'm not talking about this stuff out in space somewhere. I'm talking about real products, real solutions. In other words, people no matter what, you still gonna have to buy deodorant, right? So Procter and Gamble gonna always be in business, right?
That's right.
You follow what I'm saying?
They
You
ain't
gonna have
going
to no matter what, right? You're gonna need your certain toiletries and certain things like that. So companies like that, Walmart, companies like that's innovative in there. They didn't get left behind like Sears did or J.C. Penney's pretty much is doing because they was able when Amazon came about, they was able to get an online presence. You follow me?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like what you're doing now, brother. The barriers of entry on TV has come down a lot, but
Hmm.
why has it come down? It come down because of the advent of the podcast.
No, that's right.
The advent, so everybody that have a voice of substance, and even some ignorance, well, a whole lot of ignorance, can get
A
a
lot,
podcast.
a lot of ignorance right there.
It's a lot of ignorance.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is this, man, is get put your make sure your insurance is straight. We can talk about that. That's another call. We make sure you got a good emergency fund. You got to make sure to be able to afford to invest and not keep pulling it out.
Hmm.
You got to put this in your mind that money is not my money. It's tomorrow's money. It's
Mm.
Lance's money for 20. It's not my money. No
Huh.
matter what, it's not my money.
Wow.
I,
Not
you got to, you got to make it. You got to cross over that. You got to cross over that in your mind. That's me at 20 years from now. That is no matter what. And once you do that, then you can create wealth.
so. So you said basically with diversity. Well, so I think hopefully, Dion, that answered your question. We appreciate you going into details on that and expounding on that. And what I just took from that, I always say for the people in the back. So it's not your money. So you're thinking, well, I got $5,000 in the bank. That's what you got right now, but that ain't your money. That's tomorrow's money. Is what you're saying. So
Yep.
look. But I'm not gonna. I appreciate. Excellent question. I appreciate that answer. We're getting some questions. They're rolling in. So let's go to our next question here. We had Anita on our show a few episodes ago. She's practicing in Kosciuszko, mental health therapist, doctor, nurse practitioner. So we appreciate you joining us again. She says, as far as wealth building, what are your recommendations for legacy planning, particular for business owners, so small business owners?
That's a man. That's a
Great
great. That's a great question.
question.
I guess some of my within my framework and my wheelhouse when it comes to legacy planning, the first thing you have to do is think about it. The easiest way you're a business. She's a business owner. I think that's what you mentioned. She's a business owner. First of all, when it comes to legacy, legacy means you preparing for somebody else, right? You're preparing for somebody else that you love. We call it estate planning, but you can also call it love planning. Okay, you have to first of all identify who you love who you love beyond yourself,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a child, spouse, organization, whatever, beyond yourself. Identify what that or who those people or persons or things are. And what you do is in that particular case, there is you start first of all. And I'm challenged with this one myself. To be honest with you, once you go into business yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
need to start looking for a replacement, somebody that can take to go further than you. That's a part of legacy planning too. Because if not, the business or the vision dies with you. You don't want that.
Absolutely.
You don't want that. And once you start that, guess what? God starts sending people and ideas and thoughts your way because He see that you're now altruistic in thinking. You're not vain and you're not all to yourself. It's about me and mine and mine and me.
That's right.
And you start looking beyond you, and next thing you know, you become intergenerational. If you start that, you'll start putting things in place, estate planning. You start putting the right type of basic life insurance together. Okay, you got to understand that's part of your legacy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
most wealth is built because of life insurance. J.C. Penney, I remember because I worked for them years and years and years ago in another lifetime. That's how that company got started. Okay, people don't really realize that.
No, we didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, people. That's how the company got started. So you have to look at the most powerful companies in the world, life insurance companies. Look who got the life insurance companies and banks. Look who got the biggest buildings in Wall Street or in Paris. Think about it.
Mm.
Money just you got who works with the money. The money flows through. Who creates the money from nothing, so to speak. So that's what I'm saying. If you look at the life insurance portion, you also got to look at protecting what you have. So just in case there's a travesty or some type of something that happens, destruction that happens, because things do happen. You could protect that.
Mm.
Also, you got to make sure you have a good estate planning attorney, and when you're talking about legacy planning, you got to look at wills and trusts. This is not my wheelhouse, but I have people that I work with that I could refer you to that I'm working with for years because I was the president of National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, Northeast Louisiana chapter for 2 years. So I know a lot of people throughout the country that can really help in different areas that I can send people to when it comes to planning. But when you look at it, you got to look at, what do I need? What I want the money to do? Do I want to pay? How much I have budgeted to be able to set it up, whether it's a will, whether it's a trust. Do I want my money? Do I want to be able to control my money from the grave? Well, guess what? That's a trust. If it's just different things. You got different types of trusts that you can set up.
Okay.
I mean, you got power. Oh my God, power of attorneys are so important. Power of attorneys,
They
power
really.
of attorneys, power of attorneys are so important because if you get to a point where you cannot make decisions on your own, see, that's a part of legacy planning, right? You want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you got somebody, and it could be more than one person. You could have somebody that's more versed on the financial side. You can see how they're living their life now. They'll tell you whether it be a good financial power of attorney. Okay.
That's right.
In other words, don't leave your money to a fool. All right, what
That's
somebody
right.
told me that before. Don't leave your money to a fool. And then somebody that got a little more compassion can make more sound decisions on healthcare decisions. They could be your power of attorney for healthcare. They could be two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to make sure they can make decisions for you why you still here because the power of attorney is only in effect as long as you're alive, but when you die, it's not anymore. Make sure that those are the type. Just some of the tidbits that I would tell people to really.
Okay.
I know I'm kind of going overboard because I'm full of. That's a deep question right
That's
there.
a good question, now. Yeah.
It
No,
really is.
we appreciate it. She had and real quick before I go, but let me go because she asked a follow up right here. Also, are there specific strategies for business owners that also work W-2? Okay, so yeah, for business owners that also have a regular job that's a W-2 employment job.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you're able to when it comes to planning, you're able to have the best of both worlds. You obviously have if there's access to an employer based plan, 401k, and the whole benefit package side. If you have access to that, that would be something that would definitely take advantage of. But you also have the tax code on your side because now you're in the world of 1099. You're in the world of getting tax write offs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can set up other plans that the people, the W-2 people, may not be able to get because they're just working for that company. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Right.
It's the best of both worlds. You can write off certain things that are business expense. Let's say your home is the home office. Let's just say that you got a room. You talk to an accountant. He or she'll be able to tell you how to write off a portion of your bills
Mm.
that you're gonna use anyway. You follow what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's I'm sure you know about that, Doc. So there's things of that nature that you'll be able to write off and you'll be able to carry, you'll be able to, have a more efficient life. It could go from a business automobile. If you're in sales, it could be a business automobile. It's several things you can do um, to be able to leverage both sides. You could be a statutory employee. A statutory employee is like the best of both worlds. It's a W-2, but you have access to write off certain business expense, um, like a self-employed person. It's several things. And let me tell you, with the current administration that we're getting ready to have,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about it, but
Yeah.
uh, but it's gonna be more. It's gonna become more advantageous to become an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
It really is gonna be. So quit lying on the fence or crying and moping and complaining and get to work.
Let's get to work.
Let's
Y'all,
get to
you heard it first, folks. Let's get to work.
let's get to work. I mean, stop all that. Stop all that. Stop
Mm.
it. You're a victim if you become a victim in your mind.
Mm.
If you're a victim in your mind, you're a victim. But if you get up and do something about it, you're no more victim. You're a victor now. I'm a rise now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I sure hope certain folks are listening on that because I seem to preach that all the time. People say, "Woe is me," and I got all this weight on me. I got chronic back pain, and what do I do? Look, there are things that you can do about that to help lose the weight, to help
Yeah.
with the chronic back pain, but you can't lay around and think that it's just going to magically, fix itself. So, but anyway, I won't go on my tangent either. But
It's similar, brother. We similar.
yeah, but excellent, excellent questions, good people. I want y'all to keep them coming. We've always it kind of happens like this. Is 7:48 now, and we end right up promptly at 8. But sometimes when things are really getting good and questions are flowing in, sometimes I may ask the guest if they have an extra 5 or 10 minutes, if your schedule permits and people are asking. But we'll move on right along. Let's see. We've got another one another question came in. And this is from my mother here. She says, well, but what about buying those things okay, so she's going back to what we were talking earlier when we were discussing holiday spending. She says, what about buying those things that you want, but you cannot afford? Must you deny yourself everything that you want in order to save money?
That's a good question, and I look at it from half full and half empty. The big question is everything, and I don't think nobody denies themselves everything. I think people do that when they really want something, and then they start using those big words. I think it's you have to take you have to how can I say this? There's wins that you can take, and how they go. I'm gonna go back to my base scripture that I use, and I live my life on scripture, on the word of God. My
Mm,
people perish or destroyed because of a lack of knowledge.
mm,
And you got to see your vision. You got to see yourself. You have to see yourself. God has to. You got to see yourself up walking like a man. He say, like he told Job once he went through the hell he went through in
mm,
his life, and the one when God the Father was ready to talk to him, he said, stand up like a man. In other words, you finna hear some heavy things now. You finna start asking you questions. Job was groveling and he had a bad attitude and he lost this, he lost that, and so on and so forth. When a person is ready to take charge of their life, those things that seem important to them, that they can't live without, you'd be surprised what you can live without, so you can have the better. It's only temporary.
Mm.
You may like it, it may be a certain car that you want. I don't know. Let's say a BMW model or whatever model you want,
Hmm.
540 M. Ooh, them nice.
Can we say a Mercedes? I mean, I like BMW. Can we say it? No, I'm just
Okay,
joking.
we say a Mercedes. Okay, what Mercedes, Doc? Which one?
S class.
Oh yeah, S 550.
Yeah, 550.
I got you, Doc. I got you. Okay. So you could say something like that, man. Well, you know those cars new, if you buy new, gonna cost you six figures. Or they're gonna cost you six figures now, because
Hmm.
everything is so high. Inflation is just ridiculous. Well, you have to work up to that. You may not start off that way. You may have to work out with the lower models until you get to that point.
Hmm.
But you just have to be wise, like what I was telling you earlier about saving. You know, I don't believe in having a whole lot of notes because your income is in bondage. But I do believe if you put a saving plan together, you could pay cash. You could pay a large amount of cash and pay that thing off within 2 to 3 years. How
Hmm.
you wouldn't that work a lot better?
Oh man, so much better. You
You see,
save
so
on all those finance charges. You done paid for the car twice over.
you didn't pay for it twice over, then you got an old car. You see what I'm saying? My thing is, if you can save 20, 30, $40,000 in a couple 2 or 3 years, and let's say we looking at 2025 now, okay? Y'all know people that buy those cars. You know they take care of them, right? You know
That's
most of them they take care of them, and most of them they're leased. All right, they're leased. So in 3 years down the road, that $100,000 car can probably be about 40, 45, let's say 50. Okay,
hmm
because this is how it works. All right. Well, guess what? You buy that same car with 30, 40,000 miles on it. Think about it. Think about it. Now you can say, let's say $20,000. Now you only owe, let's say 30,000. You see what I'm saying? You pay $50,000 for $100,000 car. You only owe $30,000 on. You
hmm
can learn how to save now, right? You can learn how to save. So all of a sudden, let's say the note is $600 a month over 5 years. Guess what you're gonna do now? You can say, look, the bar is slave to the lender, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, look, I'm sick of debt. I don't want to be in debt all my life. I don't want to be in debt for this. I'm gonna double the note. Next thing you know, the car is paid off in 2.5 years. You keep the car for another beyond that, you keep the car for another 5 to 7, 8 years.
hmm
You won.
hmm Right,
Hey,
right.
now, strategy. You let somebody else take the hit. Somebody else that's already a millionaire. If they smart, take that hit of buying that new five S 550.
Hmm.
You let them take the hit of the depreciation, and you know they took care of it. You can look at the Carfax and tell you that.
Hmm.
And if you want to be smart, a little bit more smarter about it, buy you an extended warranty, 150,000 miles, bumper to bumper warranty. You never. It's the same car that you wanted when it was 2025.
Hmm.
You just waited 3 years, and you put a plan in place to be able to buy that car and let somebody else pay for it up front, and you got it. You end up buying the car. Think
That's
about it. I mean, don't get caught up in your emotion.
hmm
It's just delayed gratification. It's delayed gratification. And guess what? If you did that, guess how many more other decisions you've made that changed your life during that 3 year period? You
hmm
surprised. Like I said, money run from a fool. You can't hold water in your hand. We're not a duck. We have to make wiser decisions and not be led on our emotion. I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why? Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
You start. I'm not saying that to your mom, brother. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying.
right, yeah, right, right, yeah.
I'm not disrespecting her. But what I'm just saying, I hear that a lot. Especially with people that generally don't have a lot, didn't grow up with a lot. But first of all, you got to get out of being pessimistic. Person when I started hearing why and never and always, that's not true. You making it worse than what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
You're making it worse than what it is. It's like what you said, man. It's like what you said, man, about the weight or the cholesterol, and you start getting some healthy fats in you, some vegetables. You get up in the morning and work out 3 or 4 days a week. You cut back eating, get you some fast at least 12 to 15 hours a day, you'll be okay. That cholesterol will go down.
That's right.
The ratios will change. Your HDL will go up, your LDL will go down.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Those things will happen.
That's it.
You know, those things will happen, man. But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Vision, we got to have vision. That knowledge is based upon. We got to have it. And that's with everything in our life. If not, we'll be tossed to and fro with every winter doctor is laid. A man, cunning craftiness, he's lying wait to deceive. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
It really is that simple. And then once you get ahead of the curve, Doc, then you be able to lead from the front rather than always leading from the back.
Mm-hmm.
You start leading, then people start watching you and say, "Whoa, this brother or this sister got something. They got a thought." Then, and because you're altruistic now, you want to help somebody else, bring somebody else up. Then God can give you more than what you need.
Mm.
Because now it's more than about you.
That's right.
We didn't got rid of always and why, and say, "No, why not? Let's do it. Let's
That's
get it." It
that,
is for us.
yep. That's right. Man, that's a good word there. I was about to say amen. You start preaching them.
I'm just
Uh,
saying, we have to get past this stuff. Yeah, I realize the situation a lot of us come in, and I'm no exception to that. But sooner or later, you got to get past it. You got to get past it. You
mm-hmm.
got,
Right.
if you don't get past it, you're gonna sit there, and I've seen people do it. It makes me sick. I'm like, so that's the main thing. Habakkuk 2:2. That's right. Make it plain. Those that
Right.
read to run to it. Man, you hear no. But let me tell you, the greatest vision is somebody living in front of them. That's the greatest vision. If I can live a life that you want in front of you, then you can see a real life vision that's off the page. It is not from 2,000 years ago. They need to see that young boy. Need to see you, Doc. If not, he'll never know he could become a doctor. He'll never know he could become a functional medical practitioner. I
Mm-hmm.
see that's where you're going. And you can see that. You can heal yourself. Your body can heal yourself if you give it what God told it to have.
Mm.
Pull back from the things that are causing it to get sick. Some of that impulse buying stuff that we talked about earlier, we can say, look, that stuff, man, is killing us.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And then you have more money in your pocket to save. This vessel that we can take, if we can tie back into what God said who we are, and we can everything else will open up. It's a vision that will open up before you, and you can run with purpose and with passion, and you can run with methodical. Many people think you're crazy, but who cares?
No, no, that's right.
You see
This
what I'm saying?
I'm with you, brother. I appreciate the passion because I sometimes I've been told I'm too passionate. So look, I appreciate it.
Yep.
We've got Sister Gwen Clayton on here from my home church of Mount Sinai
Oh,
SDA Church, yeah, in Orlando, Florida. And
oh.
man, I've known this Sister Clayton all my life, just
Mm.
nearly all my life. And so we really appreciate you getting on, Sister Clayton. And we appreciate, of course, all of our viewers and everybody who's contributed. And like I said, we had some special guests tonight, and Dion Kelly has been on here, and we're so grateful to have her presence here and asking amazing questions. And Kimmy Price has been back, but Sister Clayton, um, known and remember her sitting on the third or fourth row, I think, in church, and she is still alive and kicking. I'm not going to say your age, Sister Clayton, but the fact that you are on social media and using emojis, Lance,
Okay,
that
mom.
is amazing. So we
Hey, let me
appreciate it.
something too. Also, man, if you want to go in more specifics, I know it's not. We can't do it today. If they want to know how to build a portfolio, I'm not going to recommend necessarily any particular funds, anything like that, or stocks. But we can. You want to get into the weeds? They can always call me, and ask me, and talk to me, whatever. We can do another
Yeah,
over general. It doesn't matter, man.
well, yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate you. There's LaShawn has joined us. We appreciate you. She said, wonderful tips, Lance. Um, well, you know what I normally do, I was going to say, if we have one more question if one more question kind of slips on in before we wrap things up, we'll let you ask that. But in the meantime, Lance, if you wouldn't mind, just this is the part of the show where we ask our guests to tell everyone about where what you do. Well, we know what you do, but what your exact job title and description is, where they can find you, where you're located, and what you can offer the good people here.
All right. As you know, I'm Lance Griffith. I'm a financial advisor with Merrill. Specifically, what I do, I work in the area of financial advising, financial planning, also estate planning, insurance planning, also with banking and lending. We can also, you'll be surprised. So we work on both sides of the balance sheet, not only the asset side, but the debt side. That's just to show you how to use debt more efficiently and more of a function to create wealth. I'm specifically located in Monroe, Louisiana, but I'm licensed in several states. I don't know the number of states. I have clients from California to it's there all over. What I tell people is, I am online. Michael know I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook, um, um, Instagram, and all that. My main two platforms, really, and I do have a website. You could just Google, just to make it simple. Google Lance Griffith, Merrill Lynch. Like I said, don't be scared if you're not in my state of Louisiana. I have a lot of clients in different states. I could be your best online advisor that you know. And that's the key. That's the key with the world being so small now because of the internet. You can know people and not necessarily have met them, and also give me a reason to come see you at your home. I would love that. I've traveled and seen some clients.
That's right.
And it's just I just like that kind of stuff. So I'm contemplating on some Bay Area clients I need to go see next year. So I haven't seen them yet, but they don't require me to see them. They trust me. But sometimes you need to go out there and look at them. They look at you and stuff like that. So um, phone. I give you my phone number 318-329-3065.
Mhm.
That's 318-329-3065. That'll get you access to me. Like I said, I'm on LinkedIn, Lance Griffith, Lance Griffith, Griffith with Merrill Lynch. You can look me up. You can request a friend connection or whatnot, or Facebook or whatever. We could do the same thing there. But if you want to see my professional information, LinkedIn would be the place to go. Also, Michael is a good connect. I met Michael. We sponsor the Mississippi Medical or Professional Society. I met Michael in June,
That's
and
right. That's right.
good brother, enthusiastic brother, and we just connected. So I felt his spirit and his drive and his passion, and he saw mine too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so we just help in those areas. So we sponsor certain things as we see fit within budgetary constraints and stuff. So and that's where we are. Any other questions?
Absolutely. I think no, I think that was going to be it from the viewers. So we just want to take a moment to thank you. We appreciate you coming. Oh, and by the way, before I do my closing, I just want you all to know that Lance and everybody's saying, oh, Kimmy's saying thank you for another great Telehealth Tuesday. Well, I appreciate being here, Kimmy. We appreciate you coming on, and again, all of our faithful viewers and supporters, we truly appreciate you every week. And wait until I do this plug for next week. So y'all hold on a second. I'm going.
Uh,
You know what it's going to be. But um, one thing about about Lance and and like I say, financial advisors, but specifically with Lance, like you said, got a great spirit, great heart. He cares about people. Certainly cares about our people and making things, trying to make things better in our communities. And just so you all know, like you said, you don't have to be making that $200,000 a year. There's no minimum or maximum that he deals with, and so don't be afraid to reach out to him. I've reached out to him myself. I think he's certainly does an amazing job. We're going to be working together on some things, And so, yeah, and he's not afraid to get in that car and drive. So,
Yeah, he knows that. He knows that.
oh yeah. But
Yep.
so look, thank you all again for watching another episode of Telehealth Tuesday. We want to thank Lance Griffith with Merrill Lynch Financial Wealth Advisor for joining us on this evening. As always, we love our fantastic audience participation each and every week. Now, next week, a drum roll. Now, I know you, Lance, what this is going to be. Now, look, we know everybody's interested in making those bodies look good. Everybody's interested in BBLs. Everybody's interested in lifting things up and cinching things tight. So next week, we are going to talk all things plastic surgery. We're going to talk about them BBLs. We're going to talk about love handles. We're going to talk about breast augmentation, nose jobs. We are going to have the incomparable Dr. William North, plastic surgeon, here from Flowood, Mississippi. He is going to be joining us live. And Mrs. Jasmine Briscoe, who is going to be working at Good Faith Wellness Center early next year, who does the non-invasive approach to sculpting your body and doing all those different things she does. She's also a licensed massage therapist. You don't want to miss that. So be here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bring a friend with you, and don't forget to subscribe to Dr. B TV on YouTube. So, and if you have a story, a testimony, or even another guest you want us to see, you want us to bring Lance back on, hey, please don't hesitate to DM us at Good Faith Wellness Center or Dr. B TV on YouTube. Let us know. If there's something that you want us to talk about, we are open to it, and let us know. So, lastly, no copays for new patients coming to Good Faith Wellness Center through December 31st. No copays for new patients. So God willing, we will see you next week, always on a Tuesday. And this is the place where we treat the whole person. And remember, as always, that true wealth begins with good health. Goodbye for now. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health.